Good day everyone. So for today's lesson, we will discuss about presenting poultry dishes. The way food is presented affects a person's perception of how it will taste. People instinctively reject bruised apples and brown bananas and recognize only well-marbled beef and perfectly ripe produce. Prepared dishes work in the same manner. The perfect dish includes food that tastes as good as it looks. Remember that visual appeal is just as important as the taste experience of the food. It is the beauty of the plated dish that entices you to take a bite. And the design in plating makes the experience of food more than just eating and enjoying, but further into an expression of craftsmanship and art using the form, texture, and color to invoke emotions and even tell a story. Okay, so we always say that plating is the act of arranging the meal on the individual plate immediately before it is served. And presentation should look natural and should feel as though everything that is on the plate is meant to be exactly where it is. So here are some techniques on how to turn your dish into a masterpiece. So first one is you have to consider the color, shape, and size of the plate. So it is said that if the food if the food is the masterpiece, then the plate is its frame. You, we usually use plain white plate, and it is the preferred color in plating for the emphasis of food that is being presented. You can also use varied sizes and shapes of plate like square, oval, rectangular, and round plates to make the presentation more interesting. You have to assume that the plate is your frame. So you can decorate the rim of the plate just you would decorate a frame. You can use culinary elements like colorful spices, confectioner sugar, and other ingredients in decorating your dish. Number two is use of edible garnishing. So, garnishing is a powerful culinary tool. It should be edible to enhance not only the visual appeal of the dish but also the taste and flavor. So, in presenting poultry dishes, you can combine it on foods with different shape, colors, and textures on the same plate. You can use fresh fruits and vegetables to add color, and also it can also add nutritive content. But keep in mind that you don't need to overpower your dish. Combine garnishes only if their colors, proportions, and shapes are compatible. Do not make it overcrowded or OA. Okay, number three is sauce or sauces. It is very important because chicken dishes or poultry dishes can be bland in taste or very boring, but adding sauce can add the necessary flavor desired. Sauces can be placed first on the plate or placed on separate smaller containers to create contrast between the food and the sauce. So I have here video of different plating techniques using sauce. the last factors that you have to consider when you present poultry dishes is the types of serviceware that you are going to use. So this means that all the containers, the bowls, plates, trays, cups, lids, straws, forks, spoon, knives, napkins, and other items that are designed for a single use for prepared foods. You have to choose the appropriate serviceware that you are going to use. So those are the four factors that you have to consider when plating or presenting poultry dishes. Okay, now let's proceed to the proper storage or the storing of poultry dishes. So we all know that poultry spoils very quickly, right? So unless it is properly handled and stored. So when you buy it or brought it from home, it should be unwrapped as quickly as possible and wiped off with a damp cloth. It should be lightly covered with wax paper, placed in shallow utensils, and stored in the cold part of the refrigerator. So eating raw chicken can carry salmonella bacteria, which is responsible for more cases of food poisoning that than any other pathogen. So fortunately, it is easy to avoid getting sick from chicken or other poultry as long as you follow the safe food handling practices. So the first one here is the shopping. So this is the time when you buy the chicken or the poultry. The first thing you have to consider when buying poultry is number one, purchase refrigerated or frozen items after selecting your non-perishable. Number two, never choose meat or poultry in packaging that is torn or leaking. Then lastly, do not buy food without expiration dates because we don't know if it is fresh or it is expired already. Then number two is storage. So first is put in the coldest part of the refrigerator. Then consume it within 2 days but no longer than 2 months. Number two, freeze chicken with double wrapping or rewrap tightly with aluminum foil or plastic wrap. Number three, freeze whole chicken and internal organs separately. So you have um, to store it separately. So you have to store the internal organs and the whole chicken separately. Then number three is the preparation. So you have to wash hands with warm water and soap for 20 seconds before and after handling food. Don't cross-contaminate and keep raw meat, poultry, fish, and their juices away from other food. So after cutting raw meat, you have to wash the cutting boards, utensils, and counterparts with hot soapy water to avoid bacterial growth. Then cutting boards, utensils, and countertops can be sanitized. So in the first quarter, we already discussed the proper way of sanitizing the kitchen, tools, equipment. Lastly, marinate the meat and poultry in a covered dish in the refrigerator. Always put covered dish. Then number four is thawing. So when we say thawing, it is returning or putting back into its normal temperature or stop being frozen. We have three steps here on how to thaw a poultry or a chicken. The first one is refrigerator. We can defrost the refrigerator. So refrigerator allows slow, safe thawing. Make sure the thawing meat and poultry juices do not drip onto other food, especially with the leftover foods, because when you drip the juices of poultry or other meat on your leftover foods, it will also contaminate the leftover foods. Then next is the cold water. So this is for faster thawing or to stop being frozen. You can place the food in a leak-proof plastic bag, then submerge in cold tap water. You can you have to change the water every 30 minutes and cook immediately after thawing. Then microwave. Cook meat and poultry immediately after microwave thawing. Number 5 is cooking the poultry or the chicken. So frozen chicken need to be completely thawed before cooking. You have to make sure that it is not frozen, it is on its normal temperature. Then chicken should always be cooked completely before eating. Never cook partially because it promotes bacterial growth. We love half-cooked food but do not do it on chicken or other poultry dishes. And then cook all poultry to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit as measured with a food thermometer. Lastly, with the leftovers, okay, discard any food left out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. Then place food with shallow containers and immediately put it in the refrigerator or freezer for rapid cooling. Use cook leftover within 4 days. Then reheat leftovers to 165 degree Fahrenheit.